hard to get that foot out. So what I need to do is I need to put some pressure on this poor guy here. I need to cross face him. All right. I want to stretch him out and basically try to twist his spine. So I want his head looking this way as his hips are pointing this way. So we'll have two options. Either open up his legs or feel the pain, right? So from the half guard position, whenever he has his right leg connected to my right leg, of course it could be the same on the other side if his left leg connected to my left leg, right? And there's good stuff for both of us to do here, but the real battle is about is going on at the upper body, my upper body, his upper body, and at the legs. Okay, what he's looking for is he want to be on his side here. On his side, he's able to frame effectively to keep me away. He can get knee shields in, and he can attack underhooks here. Get up here. That's good for him. I'm looking for him to be flat on both shoulders and both hips here. So he's looking to be on his inside shoulder, inside hip, with this shoulder and this hip off the mat. I'm looking to flatten him out. Good GURPS for me is whenever I can get in, flatten him out, and control his head and shoulders here, typically for a crossface and an underhook here. But we also looked at the head block and the underhook. Okay, it's ideal for us to get in here, but we can't always get here. Sometimes, because there's good things both of us can do, there's a chance that he's one step ahead of me, right? So maybe I get in here, and Theodore is on his side, and he manages to get an underhook on me, right? So his arm goes under my arm here, around my waist. Let's just rotate here, okay? I can't hang out from here because he's in a good attacking position. From here, he can look to shock his elbow and put me forward here, balance me, and he can start to get up. And now he's in a dogfight position, and if I don't have a whizzer, I lose steam pretty quickly from here, and his attacks are running. So today we're gonna look at how can we shut this down? How can we put him flat on two shoulders and two hips and start to get back to our offense, okay? So we get in here. Theodore, he's on his side, he gets the underhook, okay? If it's a shit underhook, he's not really holding on. I can put fingers in his arm, put my hand in his armpit and posture away. But let's say he has a good underhook here where he's really tight to my body. All right. From here, I need to, cross-facing is not really a good option here, but I can throw in a reverse cross-face. So I'm looking to bring my head over his head, and I throw my left arm behind his back here. Okay, so this is a reverse cross-face. It doesn't flatten him out, doesn't control his jaw, but it stops his head from moving this way. Now, I also need to switch my posture, my stance here, to sit out. So my arm goes over the back, and look at my hips here. I turn my hips like this, but I keep my toes on the mat and I keep my hips off the mat. Okay, from here, Theodore can't really get up to dogfight because I'm no longer in the same position. So your partner in bottom, look here, he's already on his side. Maybe I try to get an underhook, but he outpummels me, gets to here. Right away, I need to bring my head over his head. I need to throw this reverse crossface over, and I need to sit out here. It's important here that my butt doesn't touch the mat. If my butt touches the mat, he can explode up on top real quick, and other positions reversed. If I have my foot out, and my knees pointing out, when he starts to bridge up, I have more of a time to slide back. And now I have opportunities to step back over, or in worst case scenarios, I can use my butterfly hook to put him back down. We're gonna look at that later, okay? But for now, let me just show solo. We have a partner who's underhooking us. We throw the arm over, and we do a sit out here. When we do a sit out, we want our, this is my left leg in this case. I want my toes back behind my butt, and I'm turning my hips. My hips are not touching the floor. From here, I can lean some weight over him, and we're gonna work from there. So, last time, here, partner here, grab around the waist here. I throw this over, I sit out, and I make sure my toes on the mat behind me here, and I have some weight over his head here. All right. Real simple to get in this position, but before we start to look at moves, I just want you to get in this sit-out position correctly, because if you bungle this, then it's very hard to do the rest of the moves for today. So let's just grab our partner and try to work this out back and forth on free. 1, 2, 3. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm basically putting myself over here and controlling Theodore's head from moving away from me. Of course, there's still stuff he can do here, but this underhook here, he's no longer connected in the same way. This underhook is not as meaningful here. Also, now I have a couple of things that can help me balance out here, because when we're talking about half guard, we of course want to be balanced, stay on top, and what we're looking to do is to free our knee, then free our foot to get to our pin, right? So right now he has my knee, but when I'm in this position here, I can start to lean forward and I can start to walk his hip to the mat. So I lean forward here and I start with choppy steps to walk his hips flat to the mat. Once both his butt cheeks on the mat, I can start to push and free my knee. Right. If he's garbage at jiu-jitsu, he's not squeezing my leg, I just take the pin, but he needs to hold on to this. This is his last resort here. So look, right now he's on his side. His shoulder is off the mat and his hip is off the mat here. I need both hip, I need the hip and the shoulder to touch the mat here. So I'm walking with choppy steps. See how everything comes close here. Now I can start to push here and I can just walk my foot to his butt and slide my knee out. Once my knee is out, I can put it on the mat and sit up here in this 3/4 mount where we're very close to passing and I have better control. I don't have any upper body grips yet, but I'm in a good position to get to the upper body. And his offense is gone from here. He's on pure defense here. Here, if Theodore tries to underhook me on any side, it's not gonna help him. It's not gonna do jack shit. Okay, but when he has my knee and is on his side here, this is very useful. So I basically eliminate his attack by flattening him out and freeing my knee. So one more time. So you get in here, all right, throw this arm over, and you want to sit through. You want to think about your butt is almost touching the mat, but not quite. Knees are pointing this way, and I have my foot to balance me. From here, I'm starting to walk. So look at my legs here. I take a good step with my right leg, left leg follows. I keep walking like this, choppy steps until he's flat here. I can put my forehead on the mat to balance. I can put my hand on the mat to balance. And then when I'm ready, I push on the knee. I walk my right foot close to his butt to poke my knee out. Once the knee is out, I put it on the mat. And I get to the 3/4 mount here. So one more time. So my job here is I'm flattening Theodore out. Slide my knee out to get to the 3/4 mount. So now I only need to free my foot and I killed his offense. So here, look, walk, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Once he's flat here, I can put my forehead on the mat for balance. So if he tries to bump me around, I'm very stable here. Then I put my hand on the knee and I walk my foot close to his butt to help poke this knee out. Once the knee is out, I put it on the mat. I put my hands on the mat and I sit like this. So my butt is sitting over his knees here and I keep everything close. I'm based out here. His offense is gone. He needs to put me back in half guard to get anything to work from here. Okay, so let's try this move here. Let me just show the walk without a partner. So I throw the hand over, I sit through. My hips almost touch the mat, but not quite. Here. Look at when I turn like this, I can put my foot behind me as a support. From here, I walk 1, 2, 1, 2. This will flatten out his hips. Once his hips are flattened out, I can put my forehead on the mat, push on the knee, and I'm looking to just poke my knee out. And once the knee is out, I get to the 3/4 mount, okay? Let's work through this methodically. All right, make sure you flatten your partner out by walking the hips. Don't just try to barge through, really walk through like this, controlled here, okay? Let's try it on 3, 1, 2, 3. So, we wanna flatten our partner out, okay? There's a couple of details, and I could go on about this all day, but I try to keep it concise. When you go here, right, you want to walk your partner down. It's important that you try to keep your toes out here. So I really need to sit my hips through to have this for base. It really helps when he's bumping into me that I can base and step over. If I don't have anything out here, my base is very narrow, which means that I can get tipped over easily. Just having that foot behind me is gonna buy me some extra stability and help me step over, okay? So really to get that foot out there, we need to sit our hips through, but we don't want our weight on the mat, okay? So just, my butt is close to touching the floor, but not really. To get this effectively, I need my knees close together, okay? And to really get that good turn. And having my knees close together also serves another important purpose here. If I don't have my knees close together and I can't hold Theodore's knee inside here, he can bring a forearm into the inside of my hips. He can push out, he can start to put me in close guard here. All right, so if he can slip this knee out, he can wrap the leg around my hip. And now we're in a whole nother position where he has the offensive advantage here. So I need to cover this. And to do that probably, I need to pinch my knees. But also to sit out probably, I need to pinch my knees. So if you get this down by pinching your knees, when you sit out, you get 2 for 1. You get an easier time sitting out and putting your toes on the mat, and it will be harder for him to extract this bottom leg. If my knees are far apart, it's hard to sit out. It's easy for him to do this. If my knees are close together, it's easy for me to put this in, and he can't put this leg out. And now I can work from here. Bring my forward to the mat. Get up to here, okay? Once you're in this 3/4 mount, right? If he's very naive and his arms are out here, right? I could go right into underhooks and just look to free my foot with upper body control, okay? But I want us to just be a little bit more disciplined and practice against someone who's keeping everything tight here. So I'm up here. Of course, Theodore's still holding on to my foot because if he lets go of that foot, I'm in a mounted position. I know it doesn't seem like a big difference from here to here, where my foot is out, but it makes a big difference. In competition, this is points. There's nothing for this, okay? And his escape options are better here because all he needs to do is push my knee back, and then he's back in the half guard where he can attack, right? If my foot is out, he needs to capture my foot first, then capture my knee, and then he can get out. So it makes a difference if the foot is in or not. So on bottom, you're interested in holding on to that damn foot. Okay, from top, what I need to do is, if Theodore's good here, he's keeping everything tight. He might even be curled up a little bit here, and it can be hard to get that foot out. So what I need to do is I need to put some pressure on this poor guy here. I need to cross face him. All right. I want to stretch him out and basically try to twist his spine. So I want his head looking this way as his hips are pointing this way. So we'll have 2 options. Either open up his legs or feel the pain, right? So from here, if he's not doing anything, what I'm gonna look to do is I want to connect to the chin. So I want to bring my right arm through here and I'm gonna reach all the way around. So I'm grabbing all the way through here, trying to reach his armpit. I don't care about my fingers grabbing onto things. I just want basically to set my bicep and shoulder right around his jaw. So this one comes in, slaps on. Now from here, I could try to lean down, but what I want to do is I want to stretch him out. So I'm lifting, straightening him out, and then I roll my shoulder right into his jaw here, put my forehead on the mat. This is terrible for poor Theodore here. I can put some real weight onto here. And people get tired of this and they let go of the foot. If he doesn't let go of the foot, he's too proud. Someone's recording, right? We need to use our other foot. So I'm putting good cross space in here, and then I take my other foot here and I just pry open his legs. Once they're open, I hide my feet underneath his butt, and I'm in mount, okay? So we get to here with the previous move, right? Everything's tight here, there's no free underhooks. I sit back a little bit, okay? It's time to crossface this guy here. Make him let go of that foot. So I reach through and I'm reaching for the far armpit. Boom, put my hand here. It's not so much about holding on to him here, it's about setting my bicep and shoulder right to his jaw. So I go through here, put my hand in, and now look, one hand goes to the mat, I lift him up, and I stretch him out. So lift, gradually stretch him out. Once he's really stretched out here, now I roll my shoulder right over his jaw, forcing him to look to the other side here. Put my forehead on the mat. From here I can ride him for some time. I'll tell you who's having the most fun here, okay? And I'll give you a hint, it's not Theodore. If I need to, I bring in my foot to pry open his legs. Then I hide one foot at a time, and I'm in mount, okay? So let's just practice the previous drill. Once we get to here, we want to set that cross face by reaching for the far armpit, stretching our partner out, and look, I'm gonna roll my shoulder right to his jaw here. It's gonna force him to turn away. If he's looking straight up and my shoulder connects right here, he can pass out because I'm shutting down the blood supply to the brain here. So he has to basically look this way to not get choked out and not to feel like he's breaking his jaw here. Okay? So let's work this with our partner. It's not super comfortable to be on bottom, but hey, that's life. You got in a bad position and things get worse. That's how it is. So let's try it on free. 1, 2, free. Sometimes. So now we have a pretty good plan, right? We couldn't get upper body grips. So we walk him flat, get our knee out, then we stretch this poor guy out with the cross face and force him to let go of our foot and get to the mount, right? So sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to get to the cross face, right? So we get here, we do a great job bringing the knee, getting up here, right? But sometimes maybe he's just blocking this arm every time and you feel like it's kind of hard to get things working from here. Let's just scoot back a little bit, buddy. Right? It's hard to get in there. From here, there's a trick we can do where we're basically just gonna sit right on top of his legs, which will block his escapes and kind of frustrate him here. So this is a great tactic to just tire people out. Okay? If you're in a great position, you're on top, you're almost in mount, but you can't quite get the pass, instead of rushing and risking losing the position, we can chill out here for a moment. So what we're gonna do is leg riding here. So Theodore's main goal when I'm here is for him to get his elbow inside here. Then he's looking to push that knee between his legs. Then he's looking to hip out so he can get back to a half guard here. So capture my knee, get back to that inside shoulder, inside hip on the mat where he could be offensive, right? As long as you don't have my knee, he can't really be offensive here. It's just pure defense. So that's his main goal. He can't really bridge me off here because I'm not that well connected. And any time he tries to plant his feet and open his legs, he just gives me a free pass. And I'll gladly take those. So that's his best option. So what we can do is we can shut this down by riding his legs here. So let's just change the angle so you can see what's going down here. So this is all going on at the legs here. What I want to do is I want to bring my hips over his knees here. I'll take it one more time. I want to bring my hips over his knees here, so my weight is leaning over my knee. So already now the knee is heavier and it's harder to push. Then I'm gonna do another annoying thing. I'm gonna take my top foot and I'm just gonna put it right here at his Achilles tendon. It's not gonna stretch out the leg completely. It's not gonna do something crazy. But when Theodore tries to move around, tries to get out from here, try to push the knee, it's very hard to move me around from here. It's very frustrating. At some point, if he tries too much, he's really working, he's maybe exploding, really trying to get back. Go, Theodore. This is gonna tire him out. Just right in the legs, right in the legs. Maybe I find the crossface. Here. So this is a great tactic. Especially against someone who's explosive, someone who's a lot younger than you, someone who's just a little bit more try-hard at those open mats. Try to just ride them out here. The trick is that when I'm sitting here, I'm tilting my hips, kind of like we did with the sit-out actually. I'm tilting my hips, which is gonna put weight over this knee. Then my foot is just gonna check his ankle, so he's basically laying like this. And it's gonna put a lot of weight on the knee. It's gonna be hard for him to move his legs around here. And it should be very hard for him to stuff my knee in between his knees. So it's very subtle, it doesn't look that fancy, but it's an awesome tool. It really works well. So here, look, I'm doing kind of that sit-out motion I did in the beginning, but I'm not going all the way down here. I'm just turning here to put some weight over the knee, and then I just check this ankle here. When Theodore tries to push in my knee, there's so much weight over it. It's very difficult. It's very difficult for him to move around here. And if he overextends at any point and opens up his knees, I'm just gonna dump right forward into my pass, okay? So let's just practice this. Get in that position here, and your partner on bottom, you're trying to push this knee in between your legs, cover it, and move your hip out, all right? So start real slow. It's all about that subtle weight distribution where you sit through here, and the foot goes to the ankle. So look how I'm just tilting here. This puts a lot of weight in this knee. And I'm not putting myself on the mat. I'm staying balanced here with my hands, and I'm just putting my foot on his ankle here. It's a small trick that works at the highest levels, and it's really, really good from here. Let's try it on 3. 1, 2, 3.